Alright, I want to do a quick video review here of two different videos, two different documentaries that came out recently, both celebrating the 400th anniversary of the King James Bible. Very interesting about these two. This one here in my left hand is the KJV, The Making of the King James Bible, still a bestseller after 400 years. And this one here is The Book That Changed the World, KJB. This says KJV, this says KJB. The Amazing Tale of the Birth of the King James Bible. Now here's the interesting thing. This one was made by Vision Video, which is supposed to be a Christian company. I'm going to talk more about that in just a minute. This in here is a Hollywood production, Lionsgate Entertainment. Okay, secular, this one's supposedly Christian. And you know what the interesting thing is? This one here is the one that honors the King James Bible. This one attacks the King James Bible. I mean, they kind of honor it, but it's kind of, they laugh about it and they kind of mock it a little bit. Isn't that strange? Isn't it weird how if the Lord wants to have His Word glorified and exalted and magnified, He has to have Hollywood produce it? And I'll tell you what, having said that, you say, oh, God's using Hollywood. God will use the heathen sometimes when He can't get Christians to do it right. More on that thing in just a minute. But this movie here, I watched it and I just kept thinking, they're going to do something, they're going to say something, they can't go the whole way through and exalt the King James Bible. But they did, interestingly. And I mean, they really just lifted up the King James Bible. Now it's from a secular standpoint, so it's not that they're saying God inspired the translation. It's these men believed that they had the very words of God, that kind of a thing. So it's from a secular standpoint, but they just lifted the King James Bible up as the greatest book that's ever been written. I mean, the most beautiful language, and and what it is. This man here, John Rhys Davies, he basically is narrating it, and he's walking through the areas where the King James Bible was translated, where a lot of this, the events took place. They do have a couple areas where they will reenact, some of the things that were going on back then, the death of the Queen and how King James came to power both in Scotland and then in England. There is one scene, bloody scene, where one of the Scottish noblemen is killed and they carry his body in and there's blood on him and stuff, and King James as a boy sees this. So, if you have little kids, most of the video is okay, but that one scene there is kind of a little bit bad. But I mean, they depict King James and his wife, that they love each other. They didn't say anything about this absurd lie, this absurd nonsense that King James was a sodomite. He wasn't. It just really magnifies the King James Bible, and it ends very well and everything. I mean, there's one off-color remark that's made by King James at the Hampton Court Conference that they reenact. He makes sort of an off-color remark to the Puritan John Reynolds, and a couple little issues there, but it's, other than that, very good. And they even talk about the gunpowder plot. And I thought to myself, okay, now here's where they're not going to tell you who was really behind the gunpowder plot. And they named the Catholics, and I thought, okay, yeah, Catholic, but they won't say Jesuit, not in a Hollywood production. They said the Jesuits. I couldn't believe it. I about fell off the chair. I thought, wow. I mean, it's I would recommend this. Very good. Now, that's that one. This one here, this thing put out by Vision Video, if you want to buy a DVD that you could use as a coaster for your drinks or something, well, maybe I would recommend it. Other than that, this thing isn't worth anything. Very poorly produced. I mean, just horrible. I mean, if I could give it a rating, it would be in minus numbers. I mean, this thing is pathetic. You know, they said, you know, the King James Bible, they accurately portrayed the fact that there was, you know, the Church of England was using the Bishop's Bible, the Puritans were using the Geneva Bible, and they wanted to make one principal translation, not a new version, but a one principal translation. And the King James Bible is very similar to both Geneva and Bishop's Bibles, with, of course, some variations there. But this thing here, they throw the Douay-Rheims into it. Like the Catholic Bible is the same, you know, in the same line of things, and they got some guy dressed up as a Catholic priest, you know, quoting, you know, from the, not only the Douay-Rheims, but also from the Latin Vulgate of Jerome. Like they're part of the equation. You know, that wasn't in a secular production, but it's in a Christian production. It's ridiculous. And the costumes were real far out. In here, the costumes are perfect, absolutely right in line with history. The Puritans would wear a black, kind of a black outfit with the white collar. You know, like the Pilgrims, pictures of the Pilgrims. You've seen those types of things. In this thing, they had a Puritan with like this fruity looking outfit on and a hat with a big feather in it. I thought, the Puritans? You know, they were against things like that. You know, they wouldn't dress up like that. I mean, it was a ridiculous, just a bunch of nonsense. You know, don't waste any money on this. I'm glad that I put the money into it so I could review it and tell you this is a poor production. Don't think to yourself, when you look at the two of these, don't think to yourself, well, I'm not going to buy a Hollywood production because it'd be bad. I'll buy the Christian one. We are in such a state, the great falling away, prophesied in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, where the Christians, quote-unquote Christian companies, are liars and deceivers, and Hollywood comes out and tells the truth. That's how bad things are right now. Okay? So, just wanted to do a quick video review. Like I said, I recommend this thing. This is a really good one. One of the most interesting things in here was they showed one of the rooms where some of the translation work was actually done. I forget if it was at Westminster or Oxford or Cambridge. I forget, you know, there were those three places that they did translation work. But they showed one of the rooms, and it was called the Jerusalem Chamber. I thought, that's interesting. But just, you know, showing these beautiful old buildings and these huge libraries, and they were able to find some of the original writings and things and notes, like a notebook of Lancelot Andrewes, I think it might have been. But just, boy, just amazing. And they really, really lifted up the King James Bible in this documentary. Great. This thing over here, don't waste any money on that junk. So that's it. If you want to get a good video that really will show you a lot of the places where the translation work was done, kind of reenact some things there, and really exalts the Word of God, the King James Bible, I recommend this film right here. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching.